Hey, bud, Thomas here, and as you can see, we're on day 2 of this black walnut. It just looks better as the day goes on, kind of thing. I always love it the way that black walnut kind of like changes color, because when you first cut it, it's not quite like this, but it just gets better. All right, so this top one here is at 4 inches thick, and we have the pith right here. This one actually has the pith in it. This one, not so much. We have just a smidge right here, not too bad. Down there, there's kind of a black spot right there. They line up. So what we're going to do, this top one, first thing we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and cut off about to here. So that's going to be, that'll be roughly 12 inches or so. That'll be a nice solid mantle. And then the bottom section, we'll trim around this pith section a little bit. We'll cut that out. The bottom section will be another mantle, but it will not be a squared up mantle. It will be it will not be a live edge mantle. It'll be a squared up mantle. And the pith does kind of make like a little dip in here, but I think it's still going to be able to be worked, no issue. This one on the lower side here, this is actually a customer needs a 12 inch by 5 inch. This will be the live edge face, and we will have 12 inches somewhere about like right here, around close to the pith. It's going to work out very well. And again, we'll have another non-live edge mantle here. So 2 live edge, 2 non-live edge mantles. The length of this, I believe, is like 9-ish foot. That sounds about right. And then the other 2 that came off of here are just beautiful slabs. I have a perfect idea for this one right here. This one right here, I'm going to use it myself. This log's been drying for a long time, and when it's super dry as I was cutting this, and that blade was just not sounding good as I was cutting through it. I am going to see if I can use the same blade that I cut everything in half with yesterday and get through this very small cut, but it sounded atrocious. So we shall see. I'm not gonna, yeah, we'll see. The verdict is still out. But this piece right here, I'm gonna actually put this in our house. Currently we have here, I'll finish this up real quick. It won't take me long. Sand this down, attach some metal legs to it, have this in our bedroom as a staged piece of furniture and everything, but we're gonna take this up to Tennessee and then on to Wisconsin at some point. But very beautiful piece, has a flat back on the back side, live edge on the front, very minimal sapwood, but it looks absolutely gorgeous. Love it. And the piece beneath it is just as beautiful. It would make it great behind the sofa table. So gotta love that black walnut. It's really, really beautiful stuff. So without further ado, I'm gonna go ahead and throw on a time lapse. We'll show cutting this up, because this video is more about we're finishing up these mantles. Now this piece again was cut back in October, the larger cant, and then all I did is just kind of open it up. It has done some drying, hasn't done all the drying, but we're going to go ahead and take it into my shop, which has AC, get into a controlled space and see kind of what the moisture reading is on this. And then we'll, if it's around 15 or so, maybe a little bit less than that, which I'm hoping it is, then we'll go ahead and we will start oiling it up after we've sanded it, of course, and everything, and get this out there. But I think this is going to be one amazingly beautiful mantle. Looking forward to it. Stay tuned. Okay, what we have here is 101 inches long, 5 inches in thickness, and then it averages out at 12 inches. The narrowest part is right here in the middle, and it's about 11 3/4 inches. Down there on that side is about 12.5 inches, and on this right here it's actually 13 inches, which is fine because I still have a lot of work to do on the face of this. I gotta clean up the face, and I'll do some power carving on there. But overall, this black walnut mantle here, this is beautiful. That's a hunk of wood right there. And then what remains here is 5.5 by 5. Kind of goofy, but I don't know. We might be able to do something with that. I was hoping to get a little bit more. I was hoping to get like at least a 6-inch one, and then I could trim it down to maybe 4. I got 5.5 by 4, or excuse me, 5.5 by 5, and we'll see what I can get out of that. So that's the first one. And then we have this other behemoth right here. That's just a beast as well. But I'm gonna go ahead and send some pictures to the customer, make sure that they like this, because it's the only log I have that'll do this, so hopefully they like it. And then we're gonna get to the actual length that they need, because I'm actually gonna be cutting off a section of this. I don't remember the exact length, but 101 inches is longer than what they need. I wanna say it's not that long that they need. So yeah, very cool, very beautiful black walnut. I don't wanna throw any water on here because again, this is something I'm gonna have to turn around real quick, and it feels very dry. Even when I was cutting it, it was dry and sounded rough. That's why I ran a lot of water on that last cut there. Yeah, and then we'll start oiling this thing up and go from there. Folks, before I go over to start sanding another one, I didn't show this one on camera, but we went ahead and cut the pith out. I think we did a pretty good job. Got that pith centered in that center section of the board there. We have a 7.5 inch thick mantle here on the bottom, and we have slightly more on top. It probably averaged about 7.5 because it does dip down the middle. So again, not too shabby. Very happy with this turned out. It's going to make two beautiful mantles there as well. So, all right, let's get over there and start sanding on the other one and see what hidden treasures it has inside. Okay, everybody, so here we are. I've already sanded the bottom side of this mantle. Now again, this is going to be the top face. We average out over 12 inches and everything. It's about 11 3/4 here, 13 here, and 12.5 or so on the other side. I'm using this DeWalt sander. This is the DeWalt DWE 6401DS, and I love this sander. This sander has been just a time saver, and it's amazing what this thing can do. Like, I am blown away at the power and how well this thing sands it. I sanded the bottom side of this, I don't know, 10 minutes maybe, not even, probably not even that, maybe 8 minutes. So we're going to show you kind of what this looks like, and I'll do a little test sample with some oil on here, because I won't be able to finish this all in one video, but I'll show you what this looks like, and then maybe I'll show some of the oiling, because I'm not going to show every section of sanding, because I usually go through 60, 80, and 120. Possibly I might go to 220, but most likely not. We'll just stick at 120. Take that right off, and all I'm trying to do is take off those saw blade marks. And I'm doing this outside. Black walnut is pretty harsh. Now I'm going to cut away that section, but I'm going to leave mantle pieces or corbel pieces for the customer if they want them. If they're big enough. I don't know if it's going to be big enough here. As you can see though, I did a pretty good job. A lot of sawdust, so make sure you're in a place where the sawdust won't build up on you. Black walnut sawdust is not healthy. That's why I'm doing this outside, so it kind of blows away from me. In fact, what I'm going to do, I'm going to go ahead and put on a time lapse. I'm going to put my fan on me so it's blowing it further down that way, because I don't want to inhale this stuff. So stay tuned. We'll put on the time lapse and you'll see, and I'll kind of give you an idea how long it took to actually sand this down, but this thing is looking beautiful, and I cannot wait to throw some oil on here and just blow you away with its beauty. All right, folks, so I just wanted to show what this would look like to the customer. There's still a lot more sanding and oiling to go, but not too shabby. Not too shabby. I mean, this is some beautiful stuff right here. Let's see if I can get a better shot. Take a look at that. Absolutely gorgeous black walnut mantle, averaging over 12 inches wide and 5 inches thick. So pretty amazing stuff. Beautiful transition between the sapwood and the heartwood. Look at that, looks like a little arrow there. Very, very pretty. But yeah, very happy with the way this turned out. And I'm going to send some pictures to the customer. Again, this is the, oh, here's the other thing. It took me, now stand by for this, 3.5 minutes to sand that surface. That's all it took with that power sander. Then I came back and spent more time with the others. But yeah, I just wanted to snap some pictures, show the customer what this is going to look like. Over time, this white section right here, that will darken up as the tannic acid and everything kind of seeps into it. It will kind of be like a color like this. It won't be quite as dark as this. This will darken up over time as well. You can see towards the end here, kind of the part that was already dry, that's what it's going to be kind of like. But we're adding this oil to it because it's not fully dried. I tested the moisture content on it. On the ends, it is very dry. It's around 10 to 12% on either ends, inwards of about 6 inches to a foot. The center section, we're reading about 17 to 20%. So yes, it is still kind of high. However, by adding this oil to it, it will slow down the drying process and at the same time, you know, limit the amount of checking. Checking can still occur. It's such a large piece of wood. There's a lot of moisture still trapped in there. Even if you run this through a kiln, it'd be difficult to get everything out of there without this thing coming to pieces. So by having, you know, the oil on it and then having it in a space down here in southern Mississippi where we don't have a ton of, you know, dry air, we're always humid, this thing will dry over time, just like our mantle has in our house here. We've had our mantle in our house now for 2 years. Absolutely no checks in it whatsoever, but we do oil it on a, you know, in the beginning it was about monthly basis, and now we're about every quarter. So about every so many months we go ahead and do that. So yeah, pretty amazing. Hope you enjoyed this. Lots more to come, and the sawmill show is coming up, so please come out to the sawmill show. You'll see pieces like this around the property. Thanks, we'll see you around.